Welcome to episode 76 of Terese Talk. I'm your host, Terese Main. By day, I co-host a morning radio show on a network in New York and Pennsylvania. By night, I'm a podcaster. If you're a woman like me who loves Jesus and just wants to serve her family and community a little bit better, you're in the right place. If you would, take a moment right now to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. God knew what he was doing when he created the 4 seasons. There's spring, where everything is new and blooming. Summer is so warm and relaxing. Along comes fall, where you may experience some loss, and finally winter arrives. How does each season apply to our spiritual life? What should we be learning? What should we be doing? The first thing to remember is that God's timing is perfect. Ecclesiastes 3 is such a great reminder. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones, and a time to gather them, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search, and a time to give up, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to mend, a time to be silent, and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. So as we make our way through the year and through the seasons of our faith, know that God has a purpose and a plan for every time. It's finally time to fling open the windows. Spring has arrived. We all love that feeling of a fresh spring. There's a new zest for life. This is the feeling we have when we first come to Christ. We're excited about our faith. There's so much joy after a barren season of not knowing him. God is making everything new, and we're embracing all of the exciting adventures. This is a time when you might have rose-colored lenses on. And that's okay for a season. Use this time to read, to study, to grow. Find the Bible teachers who really minister to your heart and listen to their messages. Soak up all you can about God. This will be the foundation for many seasons to come. Be aware this can also be a time of pruning. And while that's not easy or fun, it is always worth it. If you're in spring, look for God to lead you into new opportunities. It's all to prepare you for the next season. Deuteronomy 32:2 says, "Let my teachings fall like rain, and my words descend like dew, like showers on new grass, like abundant rain on tender plants." Summer is what spring was preparing us for. It's such a busy time. What was planted in the previous season needs to be tended, needs to be watered. We have to keep our eyes open for weeds that might pop up. You might have kids at home and don't have as much time as you'd like for deeply studying God's Word. This season can be very productive. It can also be very destructive if we let ourselves get distracted. We need lots of spiritual food in summer. Think of it like fertilizer for your plants. If you stay well fed with God's Word, you can emerge from this season stronger than ever. This is the season where you'll have the most energy, but you likely won't appreciate it until it's long gone. Make sure you use your energy deliberately and that you don't waste it on frivolous endeavors. Luke 21:30 tells us, "As soon as they come out in leaf, you'll see for yourself and know that summer is already near." For my whole life, I have loved fall. And then I came into a season of fall and I began to question everything. It can be a time of falling away, and that's true in nature and in your spiritual life. Your kids might be growing up. They might be asserting their independence. You might feel like you're not as involved in things as you once were. You might feel like your influence is slipping away. Use your perspective to guide those who are still in summer. Help them prepare their hearts for this next slower season. Are there things God is asking you to trim from your life? Fall can also be a time of harvest when you get to see the fruits of your labors. Don't let this be the end for you, though. Think of how your kids start a new year of school in the fall. Use this time to prepare for the next season, the new season. Don't push yourself into everything that comes your way. Pray about the opportunities that present themselves. Use your energy wisely. This is the season where you can pick and choose. Proverbs 6:8 tells us, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. What is it about rest that we resist so much? From the time we were children, we have fought forced rest. The reality is we need rest. God gave us an example in how He created the earth. After 6 days of making so many good things, He rested, not out of need, but to show us how important rest is. Winter is a slower season, and that's okay. Welcome the opportunity to recharge. You have the luxury of taking the time to hear what God really has for you. You can listen for His voice so you know where to go next. This is a great season to think, to pray, to journal. And while you will go slower, you will not stop. And by writing your ideas down, you'll have a clear mind for proper rest. This season is a time of introspection. You can truly examine your heart, examine your motives. Also, you'll have time to allow God to make changes in you. When you're in spiritual winter, you might feel like God is not hearing your prayers. He is. Reflect on how faithful He's been to you through so many seasons. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Go ahead, take that rest. It is normal to go through seasons of life. It's not necessarily connected to our age, but it can be. Do not try to change the season you're in. Just as the day is balanced by night, the seasons that you have to walk through are designed by God to keep you balanced. Each one has a purpose. It's part of God's plan, designed just for you. If you've enjoyed this episode of Terese Talk, be sure to subscribe and look for the next episode on Tuesday morning. If you really loved it, consider making a gift to Family Life, the ministry this podcast is a part of. Just go to familylife.org and find out more about what we do. Did you know Family Life offers a variety of podcasts? From news to kids to faith, you'll find a favorite on demand at familylife.org/podcast.